Welcome back. Today we are talking about the CRKT Nobo Tomahawk. This is one of the CRKT line of tomahawks. I've previously done a review of the CRKT Woods Chogan, the Hammer Chogan, and the CRKT Berserker. Now, these CRKT tomahawks are kind of like Pokemon at this point, where I just wanted to catch them all. And I got the last two. I got the Nobo and the Kanji so that I could do a review of those and have them all. But now CRKT has a couple of new ones. So as I do when I do a review, first we're going to take a look at this tomahawk. We're going to go over its features and dimensions. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I have used this. And then I will give you some of my pros and cons about this tomahawk. What we have here is a 1055 carbon steel head. This weighs 15.7 ounces, almost 1 pound. It has a 3.5-inch cutting edge on the front here. This is on a 19-inch long handle. If this blade looks familiar, that's because this is the exact same blade as the Woods Chogan. Same blade shape, same blade size. The Chogan obviously just has the hammer on the back. This also is the same handle as the Chogan uses and the same handle as the Berserker. The only one of these that uses a different handle is the Hammer Chogan, and it uses a different shaped handle. The rest of them all use the same handle. I believe I paid $40 for this. That was on sale. Price on these kind of goes up and down, anywhere from 40 to 60. They do not come with a sheath. You can buy the sheath. This is the same sheath as is sold for the Chogan, or you can make your own. They're not too difficult to make. I made a couple of them for my other tomahawks there. Now, when I do a review or when I test something out, I try to review it the way the manufacturer describes it on their website or in their description. I try to use it for the use that it was intended for, based on what the manufacturer is telling me that it's intended for. CRKT, the website description, describes this as a two-handed camp axe. They state that this design is based on 18th century frontier tomahawks, but that this design has been modified to be less of a fighting, self-defense weapon and more of a tool for chopping wood, splitting wood. Previously, when I've used my other CRKT tomahawks, I have done a lot of modification to them before I have tested them for a review. I have modified the handles, I've fit the handles to the heads, I've stripped the handles, stripped the finish off of the handles, sanded them, got them more comfortable to where I liked them, sharpened them. So I've done a lot to them before I did a review or did any testing. With the Nobo, I did not do any of those things. My first tests were just how I took this out of the package. All I did was to tap the handle down into the head a little to make it more snug. Some of the tests I did without sharpening it at all. I did some chopping and some splitting just to see how it worked. And then I did go back and sharpen the blade up a lot to get a much better edge. And I did some more chopping just to see the difference between the edge that came on the blade, which, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't super sharp. The other thing that I've been doing with this is when I'm testing something, when I'm trying out a new axe or tool, with axes, I'll put something like this at the front of my rack of axes over there. And so when I need to smack something or chop something, it will be the first one that I grab. So this has been hanging up there for, several weeks, a month or so. I don't remember how long ago I got this, really. I forgot to look. But it's been hanging up there for a while. Tried to get as much use as I could that way, just handling them, using them for just different little tasks and cutting, even things like opening boxes. So now let's go into the pros and cons of the CRKT Nobo. So the pros first. I think that this chops really well. Once I sharpened it up, it chopped very nicely. And of course, it's cool looking, which everyone knows is the most important thing to think about when you are making a purchase for a tool to take with you that you might have to, rely on to save your life or keep you alive. Let's talk about some cons. The biggest con with this is really that it is in that middle ground. It's not a tomahawk, so it's not going to be as light and fast. If you are one of those odd, strange people who wants to buy a tomahawk for self-defense and a weapon, and this is not going to be as tomahawky. Tomahawky? Is tomahawky a word? It's not going to be as much of a tomahawk as something lighter would be, like, something like this cold steel here. It's also not going to be an axe as well as an axe can be an axe. If we look at something like this plum axe, basically the same size handle. We've got a heavier head. This is a yard sale project that I need to clean up and get back into shape, but we've got a much better head shape there for splitting and for cutting, and basically same size tool, a much better tool for chopping and splitting. So the Nobo falls into that middle ground where it's not as good as an axe at being an axe, and it's not as good as a tomahawk at being a tomahawk. Overall, I don't think there's anything bad about the Nobo. If you are looking for a tool that is very cool looking, tomahawk looking, but will also function more like an axe, this is a great one. The Chogun's a great one. They're both very functional and also very cool looking. I know a lot of folks use these for throwing. I don't throw a lot, but I imagine it would work for that. I've thrown all the rest of these at things and they seem to stick some of the time. I think that's also a me problem though. My final thoughts on the Nobo: if you're looking for an axe, you can get a really good axe for the same amount of money that's going to do a much better job at doing the things that an axe is made for. If you're looking for a tomahawk, you can get a better tomahawk for the same amount of money as well. But if you're looking for a very cool camp tool that will do a lot of the work of a small axe but still looks like a tomahawk, this is a good one. It has a lot of that cool factor and sort of function as a tomahawk, but can still chop like a small axe. And I think that that's kind of cool. Those are just my thoughts. You guys need to let me know what you think about the Nobo or about the CRKT line of tomahawks. Give me a comment. Let me know down below. I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.